The AIM-54 Phoenix is a radar-guided, long-range air-to-air missile, AAM, carried in clusters of up to 6 missiles on the Grumman F-14 Tomcat, its only operational launch platform. The Phoenix was the United States' only long-range air-to-air missile. The combination of Phoenix missile and the AN/AWG-9 guidance radar was the first aerial weapons system that could simultaneously engage multiple targets. Both the missile and the aircraft were used by Iran and the United States Navy. In U.S. service both are now retired, the AIM-54 Phoenix in 2004 and the F-14 in 2006. They were replaced by the shorter-range AIM-120 AMRAAM, employed on the F/A-18 Hornet and F/A-18E/F Super Hornet. Following the retirement of the F-14 by the U.S. Navy, the weapon's only current operator is the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. Brevity code Fox-3 was used when firing the AIM-54. Development. Background. Since 1951, the Navy faced the initial threat from the Tupolev Tu-4K bull-carrying anti-ship missiles or nuclear bombs. Eventually, during the height of the Cold War, the threat would have expanded into regimental-size raids of Tu-16 Badger and Tu-22M backfire bombers equipped with low-flying, long-range, high-speed, nuclear-armed cruise missiles and considerable electronic countermeasures, ECM, of various types. This combination was considered capable of saturating fleet defenses and threatening carrier groups. The Navy would require a long-range, long-endurance interceptor aircraft to defend carrier battle groups against this threat. The proposed F-6D missiler was intended to fulfill this mission and oppose the attack as far as possible from the fleet it was defending. The weapon needed for interceptor aircraft, the Bendix AAM-N10 Eagle, was to be an air-to-air missile of unprecedented range when compared to contemporary AIM-7 Sparrow missiles. It would work together with Westinghouse and APQ-81 radar. The missiler project was cancelled in December 1960. AIM-54. In the early 1960s, the U.S. Navy made the next interceptor attempt with the F-111B, and they needed a new missile design. At the same time, the U.S. Air Force cancelled the projects for their land-based high-speed interceptor aircraft, the North American XF-108 Rapier and the Lockheed YF-12, and left the capable AIM-47 Falcon missile at a quite advanced stage of development, but with no effective launch platform. The AIM-54 Phoenix, developed for the F-111B Fleet Air Defense Fighter, had an airframe with 4 cruciform fins that was a scaled-up version of the AIM-47. One characteristic of the missiler ancestry was that the radar sent it mid-course corrections, which allowed the fire control system to loft the missile up over the target into thinner air where it had better range. The F-111B was cancelled in 1968. Its weapons system, the AIM-54 working with the AWG-9 radar, migrated to the new U.S. Navy fighter project, the VFX, which would later become the F-14 Tomcat. In 1977, development of a significantly improved Phoenix version, the AIM-54C, was developed to better counter projected threats from tactical anti-naval aircraft and cruise missiles, and its final upgrade included a reprogrammable memory capability to keep pace with emerging ECM usage in comparison to other weapons systems. The AIM-54/AWG-9 combination had multiple track capability, up to 24 targets, and launch, up to 6 Phoenixes can be launched nearly simultaneously. The large 1,000 pounds, 500 kilograms, missile is equipped with a conventional warhead. On the F-14, 4 missiles can be carried under the fuselage tunnel attached to special aerodynamic pallets, plus 2 under-glove stations. A full load of 6 Phoenix missiles and the unique launch rails weighs in at over 8,000 pounds, 3,600 kilograms, about twice the weight of Sparrows, so it was more common to carry a mixed load of 4 Phoenix, 2 Sparrow, and 2 Sidewinder missiles. Most other U.S. aircraft relied on the smaller, semi-active medium-range AIM-7 Sparrow. Semi-active guidance meant the aircraft no longer had a search capability while supporting the launched Sparrow, reducing situational awareness. The Tomcat's radar could track up to 24 targets in track while scan mode, with the AWG-9 selecting up to 6 potential targets for the missiles. The pilot or radar intercept officer, RIO, could then launch the Phoenix missiles once parameters were met. The large tactical information display, TID, in the RIO's cockpit gave information to the aircrew. The pilot had the ability to monitor the RIO's display, and the radar could continually search and track multiple targets after Phoenix missiles were launched, thereby maintaining situational awareness of the battle space. The Link 4 data link allowed U.S. Navy Tomcats to share information with the E-2C Hawkeye AEW aircraft. During Desert Shield in 1990, the Link 4A was introduced. This allowed the Tomcats to have a fighter-to-fighter data link capability, further enhancing overall situational awareness. The F-14D entered service with the JTIDs that brought the even better Link 16 data link picture to the cockpit. Active guidance. The Phoenix has several guidance modes and achieves its longest range by using mid-course updates from the F-14A/BAWG-9 radar, APG-71 radar in the F-14D, as it climbs to cruise between 80,000 feet, 24,000 m, and 100,000 feet, 30,000 m, at close to Mach 5. Phoenix uses this high altitude to gain gravitational potential energy, which is later converted into kinetic energy as the missile dives at high velocity towards its target. At around 11 miles, 18 kilometers, from the target, the missile activates its own radar to provide terminal guidance. Minimum engagement range for the Phoenix is around 2 nmi, 3.7 kilometers, and active homing would initiate upon launch. Service history. U.S. combat experience. On January 5, 1999, a pair of U.S. F-14s fired 2 Phoenixes at Iraqi MiG-25s southeast of Baghdad. Both AIM-54s rocket motors failed and neither missile hit its target. On September 9, 1999, another U.S. F-14 launched an AIM-54 at an Iraqi MiG-23 that was heading south into the no-fly zone from Al-Taqaddum Air Base west of Baghdad. The missile missed, eventually going into the ground after the Iraqi fighter reversed course and fled north. The AIM-54 Phoenix was retired from USN service on September 30, 2004. F-14 Tomcats were retired on September 22, 2006. They were replaced by shorter-range AIM-120 AMRAAMs, employed on the F/A-18E/F Super Hornet. Despite the much-vaunted capabilities, the Phoenix was rarely used in combat, with only 2 confirmed launches and no confirmed targets destroyed in U.S. Navy service, though a large number of kills were claimed by Iranian F-14s during the Iran-Iraq War. The U.S. Air Force F-15 Eagle had responsibility for overland combat air patrol duties in Operation Desert Storm in 1991, primarily because of the onboard F-15 IFF capabilities. The Tomcat did not have the requisite IFF capability mandated by the JFAC to satisfy the rules of engagement to utilize the Phoenix capability at beyond visual range. The AIM-54 was not adopted by any foreign nation besides Iran, or any other U.S. armed service, and was not used on any aircraft other than the F-14. Iranian combat experience. There is very little information available regarding Iran's use of its 79 F-14A Tomcats, delivered prior to 1979, in most Western outlets. The exception is a book released by Osprey Publishing titled Iranian F-14 Tomcats in Combat by Tom Cooper and Farzad Bishop. Most of the research contained in the book was based on pilot interviews. Reports vary on the use of the 285 missiles supplied to Iran, during the Iran-Iraq War, 1980–88. According to Cooper, the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force kept its F-14 fighters and AIM-54 missiles in regular use during the entire Iran-Iraq War, though periodic lack of spares grounded large parts of the fleet at times. During late 1987, the stock of AIM-54 missiles was at its lowest, with fewer than 50 operational missiles available. The missiles needed fresh thermal batteries that could only be purchased from the U.S. Iran found a clandestine buyer that supplied it with batteries, which cost up to $10,000 each. Iran received spares and parts for both the F-14S and AIM-54S from various sources during the Iran-Iraq War, and has received more spares after the conflict. Iran started a program to build spares for the planes and missiles, and although there are claims that it no longer relies on outside sources to keep its F-14S and AIM-54S operational, there is evidence that Iran continues to procure parts clandestinely. Both the F-14 Tomcat and AIM-54 Phoenix missile continue in the service of the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. The operational abilities of these aircraft and missiles are questionable, since the U.S. refused to supply spare parts and maintenance after the 1979 revolution, except for a brief period during the Iran-Contra affair. Iran claimed to be working on building an equivalent missile and in 2013 unveiled the Fakhur 90, an upgraded and reverse-engineered version of the Phoenix. Variants: AIM-54A. Original model that became operational with the U.S. Navy in about 1974, and it was also exported to Iran before the Iran hostage crisis beginning in 1979. AIM-54B. Also known as the dry missile. A version with simplified construction and no coolant conditioning. Did not enter series production. Developmental work started in January 1972. 7x AIM-54B missiles were created for testing, 6 of them by modifying pilot production IV/PIP rounds. After 2 successful test firings, the dry missile effort was cancelled for being not cost-effective. AIM-54C. The only improved model that was ever produced. It used digital electronics in the place of the analog electronics of the AIM-54A. This model had better abilities to shoot down low and high altitude anti-ship missiles. This model took over from the AIM-54A beginning in 1986. AIM-54E CCM/sealed round. More capabilities in electronic countermeasures. It did not require coolant conditioning during flights on board F-14S and not fired, the usual situation. Deployed beginning in 1988. Because the AIM-54E CCM/sealed received no coolant, F-14S carrying this version of the missile could not exceed a specified airspeed. There were also test, evaluation, ground training, and captive air training versions of the missile, designated ATM-54, AEM-54, DATM-54A, and CATM-54. The flight versions had A and C versions. The DATM-54 was not made in AC version as there was no change in the ground handling characteristics. See Phoenix. A 1970s proposal for a ship-launched version of the Phoenix as an alternative/replacement for the Sea Sparrow point defense system. It would also have provided a medium-range SAM capability for smaller and/or non-Aegis equipped vessels, such as the CVV. The Sea Phoenix system would have included a modified shipborne version of the AN/AWG-9 radar. Hughes Aircraft touted the fact that 27 out of 29 major elements of the standard, airborne, AN/AWG-9 could be used in the shipborne version with little modification. Each system would have consisted of one AWG-9 radar, with associated controls and displays, and a fixed 12-cell launcher for the Phoenix missiles. In the case of an aircraft carrier, for example, at least 3 systems would have been fitted in order to give overlapping coverage throughout the full 360 degrees. Both land and ship-based tests of modified Phoenix, AIM-54A, missiles and a contain-arist AWG-9, originally the 14th example off the AN/AWG-9 production line, were successfully carried out from 1974 onwards. AIM-54B. A land-based version for the USMC was also proposed. It has been suggested that the AIM-54B would have been used in operational Sea Phoenix systems, although that version had been cancelled by the second half of the 1970s. Ultimately, a mix of budgetary and political issues meant that, despite being technically and operationally attractive, further development of the Sea Phoenix did not proceed. Fakhur 90. In February 2013, Iran reportedly tested an indigenous long-range air-to-air missile. In September 2013 it displayed Fakur 90 on a military parade. It looked almost identical to AIM-54 Phoenix. Operators. Current operators. Iran, Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. Former operators. United States, United States Navy, retired in 2004. Characteristics. The following is a list of AIM-54 Phoenix specifications. Primary function, long-range, air-launched, air-intercept missile. Contractor, Hughes Aircraft Company and Raytheon Corporation. Unit cost, about $477,000, but this varied greatly. Power plant, solid propellant rocket motor built by Hercules Incorporated. Length, 13 feet, 4.0 m. Weight, 1,000 to 1,040 pounds, 450 to 470 kilograms. Diameter, 15 in, 380 millimeters. Wingspan, 3 feet, 910 millimeters. Range, over 100 nautical miles, 120 miles, 190 kilometers, actual range is classified. Speed, 3,000 plus mph, 4,680 plus km/h. Guidance system, semi-active and active radar homing. Warheads, proximity fuse, high explosive. Warhead weight, 135 pounds, 61 kilograms. Users, U.S., U.S. Navy, Iran, IRIF. Date deployed, 1974. Date retired, U.S. September 30, 2004. Type long-range air-to-air missile. Place of origin United States. Service history. In service 1974 to 2004. Used by United States Navy, former. Iranian Air Force. Production history. Manufacturer Hughes Aircraft Company. Raytheon Corporation. Unit cost $477,131 US. Produced 1966. Specifications. Weight 1,000 to 1,040 pounds, 450 to 470 kilograms. Length 13 feet, 4.0 m. Diameter 15 in, 380 millimeters. Warhead 135 pounds, 61 kilograms, high explosive. Detonation. Mechanism. Proximity fuse. Engine solid propellant rocket motor. Wingspan 3 feet, 910 millimeters. Operational. Range. 100 nmi, 190 kilometers. Flight ceiling 100,000 feet, 30 kilometers. Flight altitude 80,000 feet, 24 kilometers. Speed Mach 5. Guidance. System. Semi-active radar homing and terminal phase active radar homing. Launch. Platform. Grumman F-14 Tomcat.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.